Making fire. Wait. Wait, how was this called? Okay, wait, let me just check quickly, because I wrote it down like months in advance. And it took me weeks to prepare myself to do this. Ah, yeah, okay. Making fire your way. Yeah, that's the title.
Completely different man. Okay. Hi. Okay, this is really strange. Because I hiked here with the plan of making a fire your way, which is like, okay, how do you want to make a fire? You know, can you just take random stuff, throw it onto a pile, and then you'll have a fire? Well, I'll assume you'll ask yourself what kind of a fire you actually want to be making, which then speaks of, do you want to cook on it? Do you want a bonfire that lasts the whole night? Or do you want a fire that's more like, I don't know, I mean, are you cooking with pots? Are you cooking, you know, do you want to like grill meat, which is my case now? I have a piece of meat. I haven't done this in a while. I mean, I have done it. I know how to do it, but I haven't done this in a while. I have no grill, no like a roast thingy. So the intention is to just make a fire and then just, you know, just put it on there. I could, of course, fix it somehow. Okay, now I have also the problem that I'm in Germany. And as of yet, I'm no landowner. So I'm just somewhere in like a bit of forest that's next to the like a path. And then there's always the question, you know, what happens if? Well, I'm not gonna make a big fire, plus I know what I'm doing. So there's always the chance that nobody will notice. So I'm not gonna set the whole forest on fire. So of course you also have to make sure that, you know, you can like dig a hole, right? So right now I'm probably in the position where I can say, hey, let's do the preparation. This is not a place where you find like big, good chunks of wood. This is more a place where you have like, oh wow, I'm finally opening up to the forest again. This was an intense ride. I mean, I hiked here. I'm glad I brought chocolate. Kind of kept me alive. But it's always good if you settle down. You say, you know, that's just gonna be my camp now. Okay, I'm a bit worried I cannot start the fire because I have no fuel. I just have like, you know, you pick small branches and then you have to feed it, right? You take small dry branches, so depending on where you are, right? Like this is relatively easy material here, right? This kind of stuff. Of course, if you have like really dry leaves, but then you have to find a spot where there's actually dry leaves, you can use that in the beginning. There are no spruce trees, which in a way is a shame, because at the bottom of spruce trees there's always these dead twigs, and you can use that to start a fire. So what I have here is clearly enough to make food, to make like proper meat. If you want like do proper outdoor kitchen, you have to have proper embers, which will be hard to accomplish. But to me that's okay. I have no problem if my meat is a bit charred, I think. I can just like, I mean, I'm in that place now, I could just eat it raw. I feel that hungry. There was a bit of stuff going on there. So I have a lighter, just a normal lighter with gas. And now I'm just checking out where to place the camera, and then I'm just gonna start, because in the end, I don't want to eat the meat raw. It doesn't have to be because it's beef, right? I don't know why they always say beef needs to be... Oh wow, now the mosquitoes come. So that's also something the fire, of course, can take care of. Now I'm in a way glad I brought the camera, because as soon as you have the camera turned on, you kind of feel like you have a mission, right? It's actually a purpose why you're here. It's not just, for fun or for nothing. Because this video was really holding me back. But I think what I'll do is, there is the question of whether or not I should just do it now. I'm just gonna start. Insecurities never matter. What matters is whether you've done it in the end. This is also preparation for a hike I'm planning with my cousin, which is the first hike with anyone I will have done then in a while. I have pushed through, several boundaries. Which direction? Oh, this one. Boundaries. I have recorded the last episode for my podcast for 2025, my German podcast, and I started the last episode for my English podcast, which is then Shamanic Diary of a Yogi. Now I'm just gonna keep it here. Hope that it stays. Okay, this is the area. Okay, so here's a bit of stuff, like flaky stuff I got from a tree that looks kind of dead. But in the end, all you need is to just spread the fire. You could get stones, but what you can do is certainly get rid of the leaves surrounding it, so that the fire cannot spread that easily. I'm gonna put this on my hat. Okay, now I have like these really thin branches. But I want to yeah, it's clearly something I have to get used to again. But I already had a nice moment earlier where I started to connect more with the forest again, and that felt really good. So it already rained a bit earlier, which means that right now probably have a dry night. So what you want is you want to have small dry sticks just handy to feed the fire. I think I don't have to dig a hole. I think I just have to start the fire so I can eat. Because once I've eaten, you know, I can move on and process. Because this is for me literally, in a way, just a recording. You know, once I've done this, you know, I could actually go back. But that would be chickening out, of course. But I feel like I ought to have brought more food. Okay, let's just see if we can manage. Okay, there are several things I would do in preparation now. I would create a layer of because I have made a lot of fires already. So I know what I'm doing, it's just a matter of doing it. What you could even do is, if you have something big, like big and chunky, that you know, would have trouble to burn, you could place that. You see, the problem is now there is somebody. I can actually prepare it. So this is also something you can do when you're making a fire on snow, right? So I just want... It's gonna burn better because it's gonna get more like air from the bottom. I mean, am I the only one who thinks telepathy is real? That there's like, you know, people watching you sometimes? Or am I just projecting myself into the future where this has already been released and people are watching it? Right? Which would be... Yeah, there's somebody working on the field. So, we have already tried lots of crazy stuff. I had this friend during my studies. Had or have in my heart, he's still a friend, right? That's the mission. I just want enough here so I know it's there. You know what I mean? Here and there, just concepts. Just have to use what's available. So sometimes there's not like lots of awesome wood, so you just make sure you get a hot meal. I do also like gas. I have no problem with gas, but for now I'll work like this. But I also feel like I want to, right? I'm gonna cook the meat, rather cook it on a stone. Plus you can do it like this, and then you can keep the heat within, rather than without. See, now I'm doing it anyway. Because once you start it, you may as well do it proper. And then I don't have to be that worried. So it's nice also to scout the terrain a little. Yes, a couple of days ago something fell on my foot. I was lucky or perceptive. It felt a bit like witchcraft. You know, question, is witchcraft real? Hard to say, right? I think it is. Right, so I can leave like a crater. Yeah, sorry, roots. So this is like very intuitive stuff. Sometimes there are inexplicable bousts of heaviness. That make no sense. And then you just have to react intuitively. I'm just gonna keep it like this. So, right, there's enough space to the top. Yeah, so just gonna do this, and I'm gonna, in the end, once the fire is burning, I'm just gonna put stone on top. Of course, it's gonna take some time. That's the moment where you say, have I lost the lighter? No, just place it somewhere else. So now this is this flaky stuff I was talking about. This is the thin branches. Right, I can already take some, just put it underneath so they start hopefully picking up the fire. You know what also works actually, if you take a candle, place it underneath. You know, you can use the wax. Okay, this just have to have ready. Yeah, I'll put it onto the stone. Because now you want it to work, right? Okay, it's gonna be hard. Okay. See, now I have to start working my magic a bit different. Which is, first of all, I see that it burns. Now this was a good first attempt. Now it's easy to lose faith. And that's what I mean with having limited resources. So you need to build a construct so you can feed the fire, keep nourishing it if you want. And now it's actually, right, which I like, a bit of fiddling. So if you've never done this and you have access to places where you can try, you know, I mean, you just have to start. I think I'm glad I had a friend when I started. I don't know, I've gone through some changes, which is why it's possible that my content will be just a bit different from now on. I have more settled into this, so I'll also have to check, you know, what it means to my creative thingy. So now I just want... So if I get the fire to work, then at least I know, right, okay, I can do it. It's not just about... It doesn't have to be all pretty. It's about an experience, and when it's hard, well, then you've got a steep learning curve, right? So you just need a couple of branches to take fire. And that's why anything you do in your life should always be your way. Right? There's also this kind of information, you know, only married women can spend time with a married man. Makes sense, makes no sense. At least that's the stage I feel like I'm in. I don't know how much women know. I think they all know. Okay, that's gonna be a tough one. Or maybe it's gonna be less hard than I think it is. You just have to have enough material that can spread the fire. You know, and that's what you want if you're building your, you know, creative career. You just need enough material to start the fire, which is why I simply keep on producing, creating, spreading the word just by doing it. So I'm not talking about doing it, I'm just doing it. Okay. Crazy. Yeah, it's always like this, that I think, I have no idea what I'm doing. Okay, I haven't done this in ages. This is... wow, I'm really itching. Like, I have been itching for this. Of course, it's hard to maintain this shape. Just like a chimney, right? I mean, it's even possible that if somebody would come, they would actually say, hey, you look chilled. Can I join you? You'd be like, sure, why not? But mostly, at times like this, people are too afraid of the forest. And the ones that would come to a place like this, I don't think you have a lot of problems. So once you have it and it's dry, you can actually, right? I mean, then it's not a problem anymore. Plus, there is still enough material. It's just that you've got nothing big. Okay, there is something big. Okay, I'm gonna show you how to do this. Because otherwise the fire is just gonna... Right, you need something a bit bigger sometimes. Now I've worked through the insecurity of whether or not I could actually start this. And that's already nice. I don't actually know what I'm doing. What impact does it have in the rest of the world? If I make a fire here, is it gonna be like, am I fire starting my career? You know what I mean, right? What's the meaning of certain actions? So this is also important if you put something bigger on, that you can feed and nourish the fire. Right? Because sometimes the bigger things that you find in the forest aren't as dry as you maybe would like them to be. Okay, I'm gonna air out the meat. It's in a plastic bag. I was a bit worried. It's just a good chunk of meat. I don't know what it is actually. It was quite cheap. Wow. I feel like it does smell good. Okay, I'm gonna get a bigger piece. Because if you can break wood that easily, you know, it won't produce a whole lot of heat. I have no axe. Okay. Okay, this is a big piece. Because I don't have a saw, and I'm trying to not make too much of a racket. You know, what you do is you just place it on there like this, and then it burns through in the middle. But you have to have a good core. Which is why doing planks for yourself, your own inner fire, right, you also need a good core. So now I'm just gonna put this on top. Right, let this burn through, just keep feeding it. This may take a lot of work, but if you keep doing it like this, you just need, plus you can now also line up other things on the side to dry them. Like we've made fire in snow, like even rainy situations. Sometimes it was really messy. The nicest thing is probably if you have your own place. And then you hike there, and then when you come there, you make a fire. But yeah, so I'm gonna keep collecting the small stuff. You see, now it's gonna burn. Okay. So yeah, also my focus is actually on making food. So I don't necessarily need to make this super big or something. So now if you wanted to, you could probably take another big one, but then it would be too huge. So what I could do is, I can clean this. Wow. Or I just wait till this like burns through. If you want to see how this looks like. Hey, it's nice, man. Yeah, finally made a friend. But who? Myself? Wow. A lot of intense heat. I can take off my poncho. Because this is also cleansing. The purpose of a fire is to cleanse. Wow. I feel more alive. I feel like I was buried. Right, you take the smoke. And then you take it, you wash yourself clean. It's intense. It's not even. Well, I call this, it's energetic cleansing, right? But I'm also honest. I'm just focusing on the food. I have a bit of seasoning. I mean, this was also a challenge for myself. Coming here, doing this. It's not like now you keep the fire from spreading too far. You try to keep it like in that area. I don't know. Sometimes, I think, just let the mosquitoes come, man. If you cannot spare a little blood, then how selfish must you be? You know, if you cannot spare a little meat to wasps that are starving, you know, then how selfish must you be? I cannot see how ticks could really do harm. I mean, if you get a reaction to a tick bite, then you probably should do more cleansing and go more into nature. You know, that's the message. If you're not getting it because you pride yourself with ignorance, well then, ignorance you must suffer, which is then probably, you know, having like giant tumors or ulcers or cancer or whatever, you know, you think you will have, and then you're gonna manifest it through acts of ignorance. And I come to the forest and try to feel like a real human again. And now of course I'm facing with my back. The path is somewhere in that direction. Now I'm sitting here. I'd say it's a potential threat. Now, if you make a cooking fire, you move the fire a bit to the side, or try to. If this, you know, to get this, that it burns through, that I can put the big one on top. I have enough wood. This is gonna last me for some time. Of course, why people build fires in the night is also to keep the dark at bay. But I think that I can stand the dark. I have a problem a bit with hunger. So there are areas where it's almost impossible to make a fire because everything's kind of like wet. And then maybe you need a lot of preparation before you could start making fires, right? Plus, what I also see is that, you know, you shouldn't make fires all the time because we only have a limited amount of wood, right? If I would be here all the time and make fires, then, you know, there's not going to be any wood left. And then I come, you know, other people come, and then suddenly, where's the wood, right? And then you get greedy. That's how it started, right? There was then, we used all the wood that was lying around, and then you take fresh wood. And then suddenly you burn. Wow. This is energetic cleansing. Like, when I started hiking earlier, I literally had this perception of myself, like, my hands are getting thicker. Like, there's like more energy pumping through me. Like, I can feel like I'm pulsating. This is crazy. I mean, I've done a lot of weird stuff in the last couple of years, and it all kind of like connected. So I haven't done a fire in the forest for a long time. I literally waited until I felt ready to do this again. And here I am, right? I mean, this is, well, I would say about 2 years of preparation. Having realized that I suffered several blows, that I felt really weak. You know, I wanted to get back here. I saw myself doing this, but in the meantime, I had so much other stuff I had to do, I had to face. Like my own darkness, face my own shadow. You know, work out my diet. You know, work, you know, with letting go, letting go, letting go. And it all makes no sense. Right? On the worldly plane, it makes no sense. Because nothing will ever make sense, of course. But on the spiritual side, you know, I know exactly what I'm doing. And suddenly here I am making a fire again. So my life was clearly about action. Right? My life turned out to be clearly about action. I can already say was, because that's the interesting part. You know, I don't know when you're watching this. You may be watching this, I'm already dead. Because I don't know, right? Maybe some lunatic is gonna come up from behind. Let's say creep up from behind. Just gonna strangle me. You know, that's what you get. You know, like Gollum. That's what you get for making fires. You know, that's, you know, maybe somebody followed me here. However, you know, my phone is at home, so, you know, that already to people is gonna be insane. You know, you take people into the forest, you say, leave your phone, they're like, what? My phone? My phone is myself, I cannot leave it. Yes, you can, please do. No, I cannot. And then they say, okay, I'm gonna leave it. And then you take them on the hike. And then, yeah, their phone starts ringing. It's like, I thought we agreed on this. You know, in that moment where you realize they screwed with you, it's maybe your cue to leave. I'm just saying, you know, sometimes you have to be a bit strict about these things. Okay, now I can actually say, move this to the side. Take these embers. Put a stone on top. Or I can take this stone. Or just this one. Right, first like this. Of course, now the danger lies in this may like, right, you never know. But yeah, you have to make sure this keeps burning. Okay, instead of spitting. I mean, this is I'm not sure if this is gonna work. Because now there's already, right, embers are kind of missing. Now I have nothing to like, I can take a stone, take more embers, put it underneath. It's like keep feeding the coals, right? Take this stone. Yeah, or I just, maybe it's already enough. Okay, let's see. Wow, this is a big chunk of meat, man. Possibly a good idea to do this from the side. Because this is like bull, right? I don't think it has to be super done. Plus, you know, who's eating it? Now what I can do is right, cooking is an active process, right? Okay. What I probably need is now it's of course on the stone. This is too hot, but I can take a stick and then you can just, right, also just take a stick like this. right? Spread it underneath. Just be careful, you know, hair and stuff does actually burn, right? Of course, the more you do it, the better you're getting at it, right? Wow. So I always say this is clearly an active process. But suffering hot, suffering heat, suffering cold toughens you up. Wow. Like the lady in the shop said something about how to prepare this. But I think, you know, she said I have to make it in the oven. I don't think so. Wow. I mean, I cannot say how this is gonna taste. It's about the energy. Okay, I have this biryani spice. It's a mixture of coriander, turmeric, cinnamon, black pepper, cardamom, and cloves. Hey, it doesn't contain salt. What a pity. Or maybe it does and just doesn't say it. Okay. I say that's enough. Okay, I've got a knife. Right, I mean, they eat meat almost raw. Okay, this is clearly too good. Wow. Plus it has this. Wow. Seriously? And I wanted to chicken out. Okay. Best meal I had in ages. A friend made this knife. Question, will I ever see him again? Well, possibly not. But I know he existed, and we did a lot of like nice stuff together. But it was time for me to move on, and here I am for the first time. Well, I cannot say that I'm strictly speaking doing this for my, on my own. Why? Because the camera is turned on, so everyone who's watching is like company. Okay, super awesome. Wow. Question, am I gonna eat the whole thing all at once? Like, do I have to? Wow. What the heck? Holy smokes. I mean, I kind of am my own best friend, but mostly in the presence of the camera, right? I'm not that lively. I'm not that lively when the camera is out, because we define ourselves also through our surroundings. And if you're always alone, I mean, okay, super nice. Now I can actually sit like this. Wow, there's so much heat. And I thought it wouldn't work. It's the marrow, right? Wow. Okay, I've prepared a plate. Okay. Whoop. Whoop. So, just think of a blacksmith. Would he complain about burnt fingers? I think not. Now you right, because now the cooking fire is done. And you make it a comfort fire. But you wait until this is like you wait. Okay? I'm doing this, by the way, to rebuild my strength. This is not just for fun. This is I feel like I almost died spiritually. And so I'm doing this to reconnect with spirit. Because I have a strong line of ancestors, but you know, they've been struggling for some time, and now I'm trying to bring this into a better place again. So I'm doing a lot of emotional work, right? And so I turn into apparently the shaman of an entire village. And I cannot explain that to you. Well, I can, but you have to know what to do in your own circumstances, right? What can you do? If you just want to make fire for fun, you know, go ahead, but for me this is actually serious. I'm checking out the terrain so I can bring people to the forest and reconnect with nature. You know, I'm the scout. I'm the guy who did it and then said, you know, come with me, I'll teach you strength. Because we need to take responsibility for how we feel. And so I have been given a set of certain abilities, right? I have an inquisitive mind, which women love, of course, because I can figure out what they like and then give it to them. But I first needed to, right, get the support from certain people, prove myself in the village, right? That's the story of Naruto. And it actually happened to me in my own life, right? So, you see it's quite moist. That's why you need this, right? To like, it dries bit by bit. You know, it gives the fire something to dance around. and you concentrate it on this spot right here. When it burns through, you can put this on top and you've got a good fire going. This you can keep going through the whole night, which I may or may not do. Just have to see. But I am going to keep the camera recording and just see, you know. Now think of the quality of the meal if you actually hunted this yourself. I mean, I hunted it in the supermarket and then I carried it all the way here, which improves the quality of the meal, but still stands in no relation. So I've also been wearing, you know, like, what can you learn from Arya Stark? You know, I've been wearing lots of faces to survive, you know. You play the son, you play the friend, but I'm here for nature. I want nature to survive. And the inner child. Wow! You see, this can also be dangerous, man. I said my inner child. You see, that's why stones can also be dangerous depending on what stones they are. These are clearly not stones that are fit for, because think of the shards. Think of the shards, man. So now there's embers. This could create a forest fire. It's not dry enough for that. Holy shit. So I'm being guided to speak less. Don't know why. Yeah, I know. Why? Now I'm afraid to speak. Energy, working with energy, is a really fickle thing. All you can do is react. If you pick up on it, but here I am, doing it again. Completely different man. This took a lot of time. It's always about keeping a clean mind. Never imagine drama situations. You know, don't imagine people like coming here and killing you, or the police dragging you off. Just don't imagine it. And if you start imagining it, then do something else. Keep engaging with your mind. That's part of cleansing. And stay away from people that have a lazy eye, because they see a distorted world, right? And my mission is to burn this through. And to eat. So, George R.R. Martin was clearly not a man of the forest. He wrote about it, but his ideas are all like twisted and mixed. You know, like the night is dark and full of terrors. Okay, but it's also full of marvel, full of magic, full of, you know, this like uncertainty. You know, a bit of like a tickles your spirit. But yeah, depending on where you live. I mean, this is Germany. I know nothing of scorpions here. But usually they leave you alone, you just have to be more careful. So you could say I'm well adapted to life in kind of like ordinary situations. I mean, I'd be useless in the African savannah, right? But here I can manage. I mean, because if you have a fire going or just like that, I mean, there's like wild boar, sure, you should watch out for them. But usually they'll stay away, just remain calm. And I cannot deal with warfare and guns. People trying to like cut off your head. But I can deal with this. Because I grew up here, that's what I know. But I also did do fine in Africa. I mean, more than fine. I loved it. But walking barefoot there was clearly a challenge. Simply because, you know, I never grew up with scorpions and like venomous spiders and snakes and stuff. The viciousness here is about like people giving you the evil eye, you know, people hating you, people being jealous of you, you know, that kind of stuff. In the end, they just want friendship, right? They just want to be seen for who they are. Well, that's a bit of a kick. Oh, it's forbidden. Who's forbidding it? I mean, if somebody sees me making a fire here and calls the police, then they're just dicks. But also, for how long has it already been like this? That you had like large cities and then you had like open country, which was mostly empty. How long has it been like this already?
Okay, this is better.
Okay, I'm gonna turn the camera off now. And then I can maybe do some slackline shots tomorrow on the way back.